To make patches of rashes on the actor's face, we used a jar of burn, scar, and wound effect. This is really just a jar of flesh-colored gelatin. You can achieve exactly the same effect with plain old unflavored Knox gelatin from your pantry. In both cases, you would begin by mixing equal parts gelatin and hot water. This stuff cools and hardens pretty quickly, so you need to work fairly fast. Make sure you know where you want to apply it before you start mixing it up. Once it's the consistency you want, dab a small amount to the inside of your wrist to check the temperature. If it's cooled enough to avoid causing actual burns, then you're ready to start applying. I like to use a popsicle stick or the flat handle of a plastic spoon or fork. Using the tool of your choice, spread the gelatin directly onto the actor's skin. Again, you're going to have to move fairly quickly to get it on before the gelatin sets. I like to start with a thin layer and then add on until I have the degree of rash that I'm looking for. As it dries, you'll get a great raised, bumpy texture that can be painted to look like a burn, scar, or rash depending on the colors applied. We wanted a rash, so I applied a mixture of red cream paints to achieve the look of irritated skin. But again, you can use this same technique to create really believable and gory burns. Chad and I worked on a video a few years ago where our daughter Natty was playing basketball with a flaming ball that burned her hands. For that makeup, I used the same gelatin concoction, but I added a bit more, and I also added heavier red and black paint. The results are astoundingly realistic. When we posted these on Facebook, people were genuinely concerned for the safety and well-being of our children. Now remember that this is just glorified gelatin. That means if your actor finds himself out in the rain or gets sweaty under the lights, then the makeup will start to melt. I've also had some actors complain that it feels itchy. Like any makeup, try a little spot first before you slather it all over their face. And because you have to use warm water to mix up the gelatin, remember to test the temperature of your goo before you apply it. We want fake rashes, not real ones. I wasn't super happy with how this makeup looked in person. Face to face, it was way too heavy-handed. Initially, I wished that I had applied less makeup, fewer burns, and lighter rashes. But I was happy with how it looked in the actual movie. Because the camera never got super close to the boy's face, the makeup read just right in my opinion. I don't think a more subtle makeup would have been visible enough to make the severity of the sickness clear to the audience. Next up, we'll turn it back over to Chad as we look at testing our special effects makeup on camera.